In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to get bone for your nuts on your guitars the cheapest way possible, and also in the process becoming a master chef who makes a lot better food than you're already making. The secret ingredient is bone marrow, and if you go to your local grocery store you can buy bone marrow and you put it in your stew and you boil it until it basically disappears and it leaves just the bone. And you take out the bone, you cook it separately until everything has disappeared and it's just a free piece of bone without any, meat or tendency or anything left on it. Now, I know that some of you are probably vegans or you are vegetarians and you don't like the fact that people use animal products or animals for anything. And if you are that way, that's perfectly fine. I understand. You can talk to me in the comments below if you feel that you have a need to explain to me about this sort of things. I'm okay with it. I do think that the issue is waste and not what people eat. That's my own personal opinion on the matter. The waste of food and resources is a great issue, I feel like, and not what people enjoy eating. And I don't think it's wrong to eat meat. If you disagree or if you don't like that I'm saying that, that's perfectly fine. But if you are going to use an animal for food, I think you should use the bones and the skin and the organs for other things. And so I think that this is a good thing. I know that some of you might not like it, but that out of the way, I just want to say that it is a good idea because, as you probably can see, if we draw some lines of what roughly a nut size is, it's something like this. Now these are just, a rough estimate, but that's going to be cut all the way through here like that. I don't know if you can see those lines, but you can imagine then how many nuts if we just go around. And now obviously some parts, like here, it's a little bit thinner, but we can just raise it up on the side instead. So I'm just going to show you real quickly how I cut this to get out one piece for a bone nut. And then you can either just cut blanks or cut a blank when you need it and just repeat that process over and over again until you don't have any bone. Now there are a lot of other materials you can use to cut your nuts from, but I personally think that bone is the best because it's self-lubricating and it's really hard and it has a nice tone to it. I know that the whole discussion of tone can be a little bit dodgy, but we're not talking about tone wood here. We're talking about how letting the strings vibrate. And I feel like bone is hard enough, but has still a little bit of softness to it so that the frequencies that you get are pleasant. And yes, if you're, for example, vegan, like we already spoken a little bit about, there are some other materials you can use, but we're not going to talk about them in this video. We might do it in another video at some other point. Okay, so I'm just going to take my saw and I'm going to just saw it by a hand saw. There are like power machines you can use, but I don't think it's necessary. You can probably see that went fairly quick. At least I hope you do. A good thing to do is to oversize it. So maybe make it like somewhere around 6 or 8 mil. And then you can finalize it when you put it in a guitar. Because I don't know if this is going into an acoustic guitar, a Stratocaster, or a Les Paul. I don't know that yet. I'm just making a blank. There we go. And it fell to the floor. Okay, so here we have it now, and it looks a little bit rough, and it's also a little bit uneven, as you can see, but we can work with that. This might look like a really small piece, but another nut. And this is for an acoustic guitar, and as you can see, it's not at all as thick, and it fits in here. And I did cut this more to a size of a Stratocaster nut because I'm working on a semi-hollow Strat. And so, yeah, I'm thinking of upgrading to a bow nut. Maybe. Anyway, here it is. Let's do a little bit of sanding. Okay, so I'm using my belt sander and I'm just cleaning up the sides all around and just trying to make it look more even and nice. This is still rough. I don't go further than this because it's unnecessary. You don't need to do anything more until you know exactly what sort of nut it is you're actually making. Okay, so the last thing to do is to check that it's square this way, the underside to the sides. That's super important. So just run it through here in the edge of like so, and then flip it around. The top you can shape afterwards once you have drawn out the perfect thing that you want. And if all sides are perfectly aligned, cutting one side down until it fits size-wise won't be that big of an issue. But if you haven't spent any time making sure this is actually looking nice and is sort of perfect, then you're gonna have to do that later, and it's just gonna be a problem when it comes to actually sizing it up to fit your guitar. So make blanks that are sort of like this. It's perfectly fine. I hope this helped. Let me know in the comments below. If you're new here, I would very much appreciate if you press the like and subscribe buttons, and also maybe ring the bell for notification, which is something I never say that you guys should do, but you probably should do, because I have a lot of videos that you don't want to miss, both coming and going. I don't know, I'm trying to say that I have a lot of videos made. So, yes. And for everyone who's already subscribed, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Until next time, stay awesome and cool. And go and make a beautiful stew that tastes really good. Don't forget to use bone marrow because it will be even tastier then. And yes, use the bone later to make guitars. You don't necessarily need to buy a bunch of bone from a music store when you get the blanks, by just cutting some of that bone from the stew. So go and upgrade your cooking skills and your guitar building skills in one swoop move.